our social life, Dr. Jerry Jones had a pre-draft press conference yesterday. Jerry told reporters, quote, "We're looking at two things that could happen before or after the draft, two pretty substantive trades we've been working on today." Michael Irvin is with us now. Michael, you want to give us a tea? Is there any inside info on these potential trades?
Cap! Yeah, man. Right. I woke up this morning, man, all excited because we're 24 hours away from the start of the new season. I know they say it starts earlier, but really the draft is the start of the new season because the draft brings new talent in, and with that comes new hope. Everybody starts at 0-0, and you think you got a chance. Woke up early, folks. Got me a good workout in. Look at my arms. They pumped. I felt good this morning, right? Then started hearing the news, because, you know, you got to get up and start catching the news.
Look at my arms.
And Jerry, just right. Hey, it is Jerry.
Hey, you good, boy.
Jerry comes out and he makes these statements. We're looking at two things that could happen before or after the draft. I was like, oh, okay. First of all, I said, okay. Trades. We haven't had any trades happen. I've been talking about we need some exciting player, need something to inject us. And so then I spent the morning breaking this down because he said we're looking at two things that could happen, before or after the trade. So that told me, okay, so it's not going to be about the trade, about the draft, before or after the draft. So it's not going to be about the draft because the draft don't happen after the draft. This has got to be about a player that's not in the draft that he may be bringing in. This is what you go through when you sell me some hope. This is what I was doing. I'm over there going through. I'm on the bathroom thinking about it. I'm working out thinking about it. Who are we getting here? And I just hope Jerry didn't do the same thing he did last year. You know, get my tummy all ready for some good honey when he says, we gonna be all in. And then he doesn't do anything. You see what I'm saying? So I'm hoping this right here says we about to get us a player in this draft, and we even gonna get one more player somewhere else, because I'm working on two things. And we get them in, boy, yeah, y'all can say what y'all want. Well, we'll be back. But more tomorrow, we're back. That's what it's gonna be.
You know,
hey,
Michael,
that's how I took
you just sold me on season tickets for the Cowboys.
Michael did what Jerry do. He's just going like this.
I'm doing what everybody's about to do tomorrow in 24 hours. Everybody is going to start buying hope. Some good honey for their tummy. That's hope for the season coming ahead. It's 0-0 again. So you better believe I'm buying right now.
Yeah, he said before or after.
Right.
So he still could do something in the course of the draft.
Right.
You know?
So but I saw it like this. So since he said after, that means it's not a kid in the draft because the draft ain't gonna go to after the draft.
But it may be trading somebody
that somebody else drafted.
No, that you have. That you may be trading somebody you have for some draft picks to go get somebody.
No, see that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
What I do now?
Y'all see what he just did?
What did I do?
What good is him doing that after the draft? That don't help.
But he didn't say only after the draft. He said before or after.
Right.
So does it mean that he's not going to be participating?
He's not worried about next year. We're not worried about next year.
No. Before or after. Before. That means like today, tomorrow, before the draft actually takes place, before we get to the 12th pick. That's all he's saying, Michael.
I know, but
you're getting too hyped.
I'm lost. So y'all tracking this? Cause I'm lost. So what I'm saying is, I'm thinking that this thing he has isn't going to touch our draft pick. We're going to get a draft pick. And that this thing he has is going to produce another player because he's before or after, since he said after the draft. So we're still getting a draft pick.
You don't want it to affect the number 12 pick.
I want the 12th pick. Right. I want the 12th pick. And then now you're giving me more hope that you're going to bring me in another player. I told you we can get back in the hunt with just the 12th pick if it's the right guy. But now you told me we got somebody else coming?
But the right guys might not even be there at 12, though, Michael.
Well, yeah, but we'll have some guys there. We'll have a pretty good choice of guys.
What should the Cowboys do in the first round tomorrow, Key?
You know, if they can't, I just said this, if they can't at 12 get what they're looking for, which I don't think they can get Genty. I think he's going to probably go to the Raiders at 6, maybe Jacksonville. Otherwise, if the receiver is there and they really feel strong about the receiving group, you take a receiver. Otherwise, just get out of 12 and get some picks and find some players.
That's what
within
Michael
their
doesn't
draft.
want.
But
Exactly.
But Michael does what
Boy,
Michael
boy,
Irvin
you
doesn't
know,
understand.
Joy gets it, boy. Joy gets it.
What Michael Irvin does not understand, if there's not a game changer,
Why wouldn't there
That-
be a game changer there at 12?
Right, and there will be.
not for what he's looking for.
There's
Not for what he's
there's
looking
no,
for.
There's no chance that there's
a Golden or
Yeah.
a Tat McMillan. If Genty, the odds are Genty may be gone, but one of those receivers will fall. There.
Tat would probably be there at 12.
And that will be a great get for Dallas right there. The diversity of wide receiver, the size, the things that we talked about. Key.
I said he may be there at 12.
Well, Key, you
first.
said Genty, if he's there, they should
Yeah.
take him and not
they
move out
should.
at 12.
Or if McMillan is there,
Right.
you probably, but I don't think either one of them are going to be there. That's just me.
So
I don't
if,
think either
if
one will
neither
be
one
there.
of them are there, they should move down to you.
Absolutely, 100%.
Paul, what do you think they should do?
I look at the Cowboys in the division, right? Now, we're saying they're the third or fourth best team. Philly, Washington, then
Or
somewhere.
flip-flop.
What can the Cowboys do to say, hey, maybe we can take over Washington? And this is what I've come up with. If you package the 12th pick with Micah Parsons,
Oh, God, no.
you can get a haul back that puts you in the mix in the division. That's the only thing. Now, it's all about what the Cowboys want to do because this one pick alone is not going to change their
That's
fortune.
all I'm trying to get Michael to understand. One pick, that 12th pick
You
ain't
know what I'm
doing
saying?
it.
The only thing that
Damn,
changes,
Michael Irvin's in this draft?
I disagree.
the only thing that changed their fortunes, if you find a trade to where if you put Micah in it with the 12th pick, you're going to get something back, a whole lot of something back to where you're going to be like, all right, maybe the Cowboys can compete with Philly in the division. Now, is that what Jerry Jones want to do, really? I would think so, because nothing in the draft, and I don't think y'all got no trades on the table that's going to put y'all in that running.
I don't think
Unless
they
you
gonna- I don't
do
think they
that,
gonna move
unless you
Micah,
do
though.
that. Yeah, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, I would love for them to sign Micah, give him his money. But if we being realistic, if they want to get back to where we talking about them in the same breath as Philly, something that enormous of a trade has to happen.
Guys,
It's a sad reality. I understand it, but it's the truth.
Here again now, you guys keep saying as if
We gonna get
on
Michael a heart
24
attack.
hours before the draft, I just told you that there's new hope rushing in. And you are saying that, there's no hope, there's no chance. I don't concur with that.
Okay.
I don't concur, because Dallas, we just watched this team for 3 straight years. Just put up one more touchdown a game and went 12-5. They averaged 20 points last year. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, you averaged those 3 years together. They went 12-5 all 3 years. They averaged about 28 points. That's one touchdown. Get your emotions out the way.
You
And let's
want
start
those
clocking
emotions?
numbers. Well, I know, but I'm giving you numbers. So I got my emotions out the way. I'm giving you simple numbers that tells
Yeah.
reality.
And
So
Dak-
you
and
know
Dak
what
didn't
I'm
play,
saying?
and Dak didn't play.
Right. And you know that.
didn't have your quarterback.
So you add on that player. Yeah, and you get some guys in the offensive line and you build around an offense. Michael, you don't get rid of Michael.
No, I would give
You don't get rid of Michael because you need a base to start your defense with. What good is going to get all these guys?
Can I ask you a question
that
on
I
Michael?
don't know
You
about?
can't stop the run. You
no.
can't run.
Nope.
You need more offense. Like
And that's,
you need
and
more
all that
passing
is
game.
right, but that's why the offense
We can circle
help
back
the
to
defense.
Micah's production.
Right.
Maybe we could get that through a few other guys.
So, Michael, last year you said they were a touchdown less than they were prior to those
Yeah,
12.
we average over last
Can
year.
I ask you a question, though?
Yeah.
Who was calling the plays?
Well, you talking about Coach Scheinheimer?
No, who was calling the plays when they were
Mike
scoring all those
McCarthy and
points?
Cam and what's your boy in New Orleans now?
And neither one of them are now with the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, God, now we're down to play callers, not the players that's playing the plays that being called. Come on, let's be real here.
Is that
matters?
No, listen, but is
No,
that
it's not the
But we
players.
said on this
it's
show
not.
that matters because is that going to affect Detroit?
Yes, and it
But
will
it ain't gonna affect the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. No. But and it will affect. But here's what I'm saying to you. It needs to affect the Cowboys. Here. See what I'm saying here? See, the Cowboys need to go up.
Right. That makes sense.
Detroit trying to stay from coming down.
Right.
Let me teach you preach.
All right.
Let me show you what I'm talking about
to me.
now. So seriously.
Talk about it.
You can say we'll find this other 7 points with this great player in this new play caller, because the old play caller wasn't doing anything new from the last couple of years.
They was 12-5. You just told me 3 years in a row.
Last year. Right.
They was hurt.
But what did we still hear?
But the play caller's not there.
What did we still hear? That offense is stagnant. They need to add more things to the offense.
Yes, they do.
So just imagine if they would have done that then, we could have been Kansas City. But they didn't. I let that go. Now you don't have the talent, but you have a guy in that's going to help you scheme. I say you get that one more talent, and his scheme will give you.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. So let's just assume Genty's gone, McMillan's gone. Who you getting?
There's a Matthew Golden out there. Now I prefer the big receiver, because the
Why would you want to
Golden's
duplicate?
Guys a little bit of duplication for CeeDee Lamb. But let me give it to you why. Because I have now what we just talked about, a new play caller who can also now add into this offense, the duplication of both of these guys being in the slot and making plays similar to what I wanted when we were trying to go get Deebo Samuel. Because the new play caller then must affect that.
But why would I overdraft when I can slide down and pick up that same player later in the draft or in the second round? That same player will be available to me later in the draft. Why I gotta reach?
Well, you just said first that those guys that I was talking about weren't going to be
No,
there.
those two are gone. Those two are gone.
Yeah.
So why would I take 12 and use it on a player that I can get at 42 or somewhere along those lines? Why would I do that?
First of all of it's a shot. You don't know who's going to be at 42 or 12 because we don't know who has
that's very true.
affinity for any of them.
But most
I'm
likely,
saying you got a bunch, and you got groups. Key, they got groups. They said this is a number one group of wide receivers.
Yeah, these are the grades.
This is our so this number one group, if we can come out of this draft with anybody in this number one group, that's a win for you.
Yes, but if I can get the sixth
the
player,
second, third group, that's another thing.
But if I can get the fifth receiver in that number one group at the bottom of the first round or into the second round, why would I reach?
I'm not telling you to reach. I'm just telling you, my guy has to be a great big playmaker. I'm telling you what the Cowboys got to make sure they find.
They also,
right here.
They
gotta
be
find it.
serious a little bit about what the position the Cowboys are in.
I actually like Mason there too, though. To be honest with you, and I ain't saying that just because you there.
Absolutely love Mason and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I like them because they need to. I mean, I like the tight end, but they could do something there too.
The Cowboys need
an explosion.
A lot.
A boatload.
Yeah, but they do. But they also need a thing. They need a thing. And trading back in the draft is not sexy.
Right.
It's practical, but it's not sexy.
That's what history shows. That's what they're going to do.
Right.
And
history
historically,
does show.
they have had 3 decades of not.
That ain't because they went back.
Everything is something. Everything is something.
When I got on the call, on the phone, trying to find out, when I was so excited, I called. You call all the people you know. I know all the beat writers who grew up together just about. You know what I mean? They still work with the Cowboys. I said, man, what Jerry's talking about? What is this new thing he has? And they were like, man, Jerry. He was like, just know, there's been a lot of heat Jerry's taken, and I'm hoping that he's giving this out and saying it because he's taking a lot of heat and he's trying to throw us some hope. And if that's the truth, no way he's thinking about moving down. You see where I'm getting with that? Mm-hmm. No way he's thinking about moving down if he's already worried about the heat he's taking for not making any moves, and then the first move you really make is a move down. That won't go over well.
Well, in 2023, he said he was all in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was all in 2023.
Right.
He sold hope to you.
Yeah, it did. Sold
it again, and you bought it, hook, line, and sinker. That's all.
And I'm gonna be at the altar tomorrow. Saying I do.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.